Breaking news here on Seattle Seahawks Today as we have a big injury update to get to on Seahawks quarterback Geno Smith. Also, we'll talk about what's going on with Sam Howell with a new update from training camp on him coming up in just a moment. If you recall, Geno got a little banged up in Tuesday's practice, sat out the next two practices after. And the latest report that we'll show you from Adam Schefter in just a moment is a very positive sign for Geno Smith going forward. Let's start with this from Brady Henderson of ESPN, who put this out on Thursday. Geno Smith is set to undergo testing after missing the Seahawks' last two practices. My understanding is he's been dealing with hip and knee issues. Said Mike Macdonald he's working through a couple of things from the other day, but we'll get through some imaging tonight and we'll see. And then the update this morning from Schefter. Injury update testing on Seahawks QB Geno Smith's knee and hip injuries did not reveal anything significant. As one source said, he shouldn't miss any time. So very good news there from Adam Schefter when it comes to Geno Smith on that front. I can hear in the back of my mind just the huge sigh of relief from everybody in Renton at the Seahawks facility right now, as this doesn't seem significant at all, that the Seahawks were just taking some precautionary measures the last couple days, but it's not a big issue, if you will, for the Seahawks, which is a big deal for them. And Greg Bell from the Tacoma News-Tribune, he had this update on what exactly went on with Geno earlier in the week, more in detail. He said the following: the Seahawks do not see Geno Smith's banged-up knee and hip as a significant issue, and they don't expect him to miss any real time beyond perhaps another practice or two, a league source told the News-Tribune on Friday. Smith had a defensive teammate run into him and knock him to the turf at the end of a play during 11-on-11 scrimmage at training camp Tuesday. It happened when quarterbacks were off limits from contact. As always, Smith got up favoring his leg a little bit, but he finished practice. So what I take away from this, and granted I'm not a doctor, but just from where the testing is at and reading into how Geno still finished that practice on Tuesday, if the Seahawks, let's say, were to play a meaningful game this week, let's say that a regular season game was going on, then I think that Geno Smith more than likely would still play through this injury, if you will, if you want to even call it that at that point, that he would work through it in this circumstance. But because it is training camp, because it's just the preseason starting next week, there's no reason to take any risk, if you will, and just be steady Eddie, if you will, when it comes to this situation with Geno Smith. So they're doing the right thing. They're being very careful here, and hopefully he gets back up to full strength soon, and this doesn't turn into a lingering issue, if you will. What's your one-word reaction to the Geno Smith injury news? I'll give you my one word here in just a moment, but want to hear from you guys first. Weigh in on our pinned comment today and let us know what you think. Folks, this is why you subscribe to Seahawks Today, as we are bringing you up-to-the-minute information on your favorite team. We're going to be live coming up later on this afternoon for our Friday live show we've been doing in the off-season, as we're bringing you live shows twice a week, breaking news like you're seeing now. We're talking daily news and rumors, also potential trades, free agent signings, all of that and more. It's all in one place. We just reached 53,000 subscribers. Can I get a hell yeah? Now let's reach our next goal of 53.5 thousand subscribers. 426 away from reaching that next milestone. For the latest happenings on your Seattle Seahawks all offseason long, subscribe now for free, youtube.com/SeahawksTV. My one word is relieved. This could have been a lot worse. They wear the non-contact jerseys for a reason, folks. That way you don't touch the quarterback. And he still got touched and got a little banged up. So I'm relieved the situation could have been a lot worse than what it actually was. But you think about this. Since Geno Smith has been in Seattle, he has been a bit banged up previously before. You go back to August of 2014 when he suffered a concussion. You go back to November of last year, the Rams game, when he had a tricep strain that took him out for the rest of that game. Drew Lock came in. The Seahawks ultimately lost. He did come back, though, from that injury pretty quickly. And then you go to the month of December when he had the groin injury that kept him out a couple games And that forced Drew Lock to step in, start that Monday night game against the Philadelphia Eagles, where Drew Lock did really good and helped lead the Seahawks to victory. It does make you think. Geno's no spring chicken by any stretch of the imagination, right? If we're being realistic here, 17 games that we play now in the NFL regular season, that's a lot of football. That's a long time. I think just based on what we've seen recently, Geno getting older, a long regular season, it's probably not realistic to think that Geno's going to play in all 17 games this season. Injuries, they only get worse as you get older. That's just the reality of it. Now, let's potentially see what Sam Howell can do. We'll talk about Sam Howell in just a moment and what his role looks like for the Seahawks, how he's doing in training camp. But let's ask you, do you agree with me? Do you think Geno's not going to play all 17 games this year? Or do you think he powers his way through to play all 17? Weigh in, let us know. Type Y for yes, in for no. In the comments section, let us know. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the best place to go for last-minute tickets, the best seats, and the lowest prices guaranteed. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace in Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy shows, theater productions, and more. And here's how it works. Choose the event you want to go to. Maybe it's a Mariners game, a Seahawks preseason game. You choose the event. They got the prices listed. Then you pick out your seat. You get the visual, see if you like that seat or not. And then you're checking out on Game Time with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. But that is not all, folks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. All the reports, all the indications on Geno Smith this offseason, everything from OTAs now through training camp has been very positive. That Geno has looked the part, that he's been very good throughout the start to 2024 at this point in time. But with that injury concern that's there, Sam Howell needs to stay ready, if you will. Geno had this to say on the offseason of just his progress and where he's at right now heading into 2024. I've gotten faster. I've gotten stronger. I put on more muscle. You know, you got to credit the staff here, my people back home in Miami who do a great job. And then that mindset that I've talked about of always wanting to get better and trying to push yourself there from Geno Smith. So he's putting in the work to try to make sure his body can hold up, but he can only do so much, right? The statistics from Geno Smith, we've talked about this previously. The hope is that Geno can get back to the form he was in 2022 and maybe even be better than that. I think that's kind of the goal in mind, and he did play in all 17 games in 2022 when that happened. But then you have to think, all right, if something were to happen to Geno, if he does not hold up, the next man in line then would be Sam Howell, the former Washington Commanders starting quarterback who threw for 21 touchdowns and 21 interceptions last year, leading the league in picks. Did have close to 4,000 yards. But the good news for the Seahawks, after a rough start to training camp for Sam Howell, where he really struggled with accuracy over the last couple of days, with him getting more first-team reps, with Geno being out, and him stepping into the fold, if you will, getting to work more with DK and Tyler and Noah and JSN and Kenneth Walker and all those guys, we're seeing some improvement. We're starting to see Sam Howell on the right track, if you will. Corbin Smith from SIL Seahawks had this to say on Sam Howell. Seizing his first opportunity to work with the first-team offense, though he did uncork a few wild throws, had a few catchable passes dropped, and got intercepted by Trey Brown for an ugly pick six. Howell enjoyed a stellar day overall, and it made positive strides. Early on, he delivered a perfect 20-yard back shoulder completion to Jake Bobo, more Bobo, along the sideline and hooked up with Jackson Smith and Jigba for a 15-yard gain on a crossing route during Seattle's mystery situation, setting up a 62-yard field goal by Jason Myers. So they got the mystery machine out and everything. So how about that, folks? Great to see that Sam Howell is on track and taking advantage of the time when Geno is out. But good news, Geno should be back here soon. Speaking of Sam Howell, what's kind of your confidence level in Sam Howell? I feel a lot better now that he's starting to turn a corner here a little bit. Scale it for me 1 through 10 in the comments section. What do you think? I still need to see more. It's about a 5 or 6 for me right now. Let us know what you think. Appreciate you joining us here on Seahawks Today. Make sure to subscribe to the channel as always and stay up to date with up-to-the-minute Seattle Seahawks information. Got a live show coming up later today. We will see you then. I'm Tyler Jones. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.